The kingdom of Graustark is defined by its isolation and its immense concentrated power. At the peak of this social hierarchy is Princess Osra, a woman whose beauty and rank make her the most visible figure in Europe. Because of her position, elite suitors, princes, wealthy nobles, and military leaders travel across the continent to actively compete for her hand in marriage. This logic tree diagrams the strategic goals behind these royal proposals. At the center is marriage to Osra, but that event branches outward into the suitors' real objectives: military alliances, access to the royal treasury, and securing a powerful bloodline. The nodes of their ambition never intersect with Osra's actual personality. These men treat the princess as a functional component of a larger political machine. Immense status creates a practical barrier to intimacy. When a person holds significant systemic power, that rank often obscures the individual, making it difficult for others to form an authentic connection. Osra recognizes that her rank attracts calculated, strategic interest rather than affection, leading to a sense of profound isolation. To test if she can be loved for her character alone, she formulates a hypothesis. She must separate her personal identity from her social rank and observe the results. She puts this into practice by abandoning the royal court. Disguising herself as an ordinary commoner, she steps into the unremarkable streets of the kingdom. This is a high-stakes sociological experiment. She is choosing to set aside every systemic advantage she has ever known to see what remains. Osra establishes herself among the common people, operating in an environment that is largely indifferent to the affairs of the royal court. In this setting, she meets a young man whose life is entirely detached from the world of high politics and inherited wealth. Their interactions lack the flattery and maneuvering typical of the palace. There are no discussions of inheritance or diplomatic leverage. Over time, a romantic connection develops, based on their shared experiences and their individual personalities. This phase of her experiment suggests that Osra's identity as a woman is sufficient to inspire a deep personal interest when her crown is removed from the equation. By removing her title, she creates a space where affection can grow without being crowded out by the demands of the state. However, a princess cannot disappear without the machinery of the state attempting to recover its most valuable political tool. This map illustrates the state's response. The Graustark military initiates a search, and this expanding grid overtakes ordinary villages as they hunt for the missing royal. Eventually, that search grid intersects with Osra's hidden location, forcing her two worlds into a direct collision. Osra fears this moment. Revealing her identity reintroduces the variable of power into her relationship, which she suspects may change the young man's feelings. The truth arrives with a sudden shock. Heavily armored guards flood into the simple room, and the young man discovers that the woman he loves is actually the princess of Graustark. The experiment is now under extreme pressure. The deception she used to find an honest connection now places that very connection at risk. The focus of the experiment shifts. It is now the young man who must face a difficult choice. He has to weigh his feelings against a difficult reality. Continuing to love Osra means entering a world of immense political responsibility and constant public scrutiny. He must decide if his affection was for the simple woman she pretended to be, or for the actual woman who possesses both that simplicity and a royal title. Because his feelings were established before he knew of her rank, he chooses to stay with Osra despite the complications of her position. Affection that is established without the influence of ambition demonstrates a resilience that can survive even a sudden shift in social status. Osra reaches the end of her experiment with an answer to her original question. She has secured a personal connection that exists independently of her royal status. This balance scale visualizes the influence at play. On one side, symbols of authority, a crown and coins, weigh down the pan, having no effect on the hovering heart. Only when the symbols are removed does the scale reach equilibrium, leaving two figures in balance. The story suggests that by stripping away her royal protection, Osra discovered a type of loyalty that her title alone could never have secured. While a crown can command a kingdom, Osra's journey suggests that it is the person beneath the crown who attracts the heart.